Nagata. Today we are going to create a pipe using 2 cylinders in 3dBuilder. We are going to use our top tab here where it says Insert. You are going to first pop in a cylinder. Notice each of these little squares is 1 centimeter or 10 millimeters. They're the same thing. So let's go ahead and pop our Shikonagei, our blue cylinder. Notice we've got 3 dimensions: Y, X, which is side to side, and we consider this Z, forward backwards. So 3 dimensions. So volume. This whole thing is full, and so we're going to use another cylinder to kind of punch out the center, and we're going to use an edit tool called Subtract. So I'm going to go ahead and move the Shikonagei cylinder here, and I'm going to move it out of the way. Notice the bottom numbers change, negative, because we are moving in the negative direction for the x-axis. So I'm going to just place it somewhere over here. Alright. We are now going to unclick this. We're not working with that anymore. We are going to go for another cylinder. This is a congruent cylinder. It is the same shape and the same size. But it's a little confusing to have two of them. So we are going to change the color, and to do that we need to go to this tab called Paint. We could change the texture, say to a wood texture. I'm just hovering right now, and that would make it look like a dowel. Okay, we don't want to do that. That's a little confusing for me. So we're just going to go to color, and we're going to go to Delonagei. We're going to pick yellow, and we're going to left click on this and choose yellow so the whole thing is covered. We could change the coverage amount if we wanted to, but we're going to leave it at 100. There's lots of ways to play with the shading that we're not going to do today. So we're going to click Accept. So we simply just picked a yellow. So what we're going to do basically is take this yellow guy, and again we're under Move it over here and subtract from the blue. But right now if we do that, there won't be anything left. We want to be able to subtract a part of the cylinder by using the inside. So I'm going to go back to, or actually go to the Edit. Edit allows us to do different things with our objects like merge or subtract or hollow. We are going to subtract, just like you would do in a math problem if you're doing some piping. Notice it's gray, doesn't allow us to subtract, but when we bring it over, oops, I'm on the up and down, move it over, it becomes black, so we can use it. But if we did that again, the whole thing would be subtracted. We need to shrink parts of it, so that shows us down here what we need to do. So we've been moving it. This one is for rotating. Right, so I could rotate this if I wanted to. It tells you the number of degrees of rotation, but I went back to 0 because I want to be on the same orientation as the other one. This one is dilating or shrinking. Now, if you click here, you're going to shrink all dimensions at the same time in the same ratio. That would make it a similar cylinder. We don't want to do that. We want to create a brand new cylinder, so it won't be the same shape and it won't be the same size. So to do that, we got to click on individual dimensions to change. Okay? We want a wall on this blue Shikonagei. If we make the wall 2 millimeters thick, and it goes all the way around as 2 millimeters thick, that means there'll be 2 millimeters here as well. So we're going to have 2 here and 2 here, which makes a total of 4 millimeters. So if we take the total distance of 40, notice you can do that from looking at here or clicking on it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 40 millimeters or 4 centimeters. 40 millimeters minus 4 would leave us with 36. So I'm going to click on this dimension and I'm going to hit 36. Notice this is unlocked. That is very important. That allows you to change just one dimension, not all at the same time. Basically, we are no longer going to be a similar shape or congruent shape. So I accept. Notice only this direction changed. Want to do that Z part 2, we want 2 here and 2 here, which makes 36 in the center. I'm going to click down here and type in 36. You could drag it. I find that you can't get the exact numbers you want. I like to type it in, 36. So I'll show you that right now. Notice if I go up here, it says 40, which is the same height over here. Drag this, it would change the numbers. Now, 40 millimeters, if we left it over here, should subtract to be 0, but because we're dealing with real concepts in an imperfect computer software, to punch it out and to be sure that we punched it out, I'm gonna stretch this way beyond 40 to say 45-ish. And if I want to be precise, I could type in 45. Alright, now's the time to move it. Notice that we're in dilating, or scaling. We want to rotate, we want to move or translate. So now that it's on move or translate, make sure you pick the right dimension. I'm sliding, translating. I'll translate it over here. Notice this would not create a pipe. This will. I'm directly in the center. However, I now need to make sure that I puncture the bottom area. Because if I were to rotate this, notice it hasn't punctured it. So to puncture it, I'm picking the Y dimension. I'm going to puncture it at the bottom. Let's make sure. Yep. Now I know that there won't be a top and bottom, or that part of the top and bottom will be completely subtracted. We are now ready to subtract. I'm going to click the subtract button. Oh yeah. Now I'm going to click the rotate to kind of look and peek. So I'm going to rotate it. I love these circles. It really shows you where you're rotating it to. So I'm rotating it, and I rotate it about 45 degrees. And now if I wanted to rotate it a little bit more so we could look straight onto it, I can rotate it. Well, that won't change anything. Which is the one I want? This one. There we go. So I could rotate that 45 degrees. Ish. So you can see, you can kind of play around, but this is our hollow pipe. And to print it, we will need it to kind of be standing upright. So I'm going to undo all the rotating. I love the undo button. And again, because your screens are touch screens, you can zoom in and out. But we now have a pipe that is 4 centimeters tall with a 2 millimeter wall, and it looks awesome. Thanks, and we are ready to 3D print. Ski.